Hi, welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
Today we are talking about Real Housewives of Orange County, season 18, episode number 2. It starts out kind of where last week's episode ended. Alexis and Shannon are continuing their arguments at Heather's party outside, and Alexis keeps bringing up that Shannon is upset because she has John Jansen, when Shannon is saying that she's upset because of the lawsuit that John Jansen filed against her that cost her $300,000 to defend herself.
Well, the one that Jim Bellino.
That's what I meant, Jim Bellino.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah,
Jim
yeah,
Bellino. There's yet
because
another.
At this point, we don't know yet, right? That John Jansen filed one?
No, not at this point in the season. We know now he's currently filed one, present day, for $70,000 for, he's saying her facelift, which she offered to pay him the $70,000, and he said no, he's going to continue with the lawsuit.
Right, which means that he just wants to run her name through the mud. Because why?
Yeah, that's what it means.
I mean, unless he's looking for attorney's fees, but if you settle, you won't have attorney's fees.
Right.
I mean, you will, but it'll be minimal. And if you put that into the settlement, then she'd probably just pay that too.
Yeah, she's trying to get rid of this, and he's just dragging his feet and trying to get more time on air, more airtime.
Right. And I had a thought and it went right out of my head.
It happens. It happens. It happens.
And he wasn't doing this prior to him dating Alexis.
No,
and now
he
he's
wasn't
dating Alexis, and now he's suing her.
Exactly.
Which is awful.
Yes, especially considering Alexis's ex sued her,
Mm-hmm.
and that cost her $300,000 in legal fees, and he knows that. He's well aware of that.
Yes, because he was with her at the time.
Yeah.
Or part of it.
Yeah, I mean, they were on and off again for many years at this point, I feel like.
Yeah. He's just a bad man. He's
really,
a Brooks and a,
Yeah.
I don't even want to put him in the same classification as Slade, because quite honestly, I think Slade has completely redeemed himself by being with Gretchen this long. They have a child together. Seems like, he lost his son who was sick, which is very, very sad, but hopefully he has a good relationship with his older son. Like, I think Slade is a good example of somebody who did like a 180, who looked like a total douche on reality TV.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I think he has turned himself around. I mean, at least what we see. And it's not
I'd like them to bring Gretchen back so we can see their dynamic now.
I mean, I'd like to see Gretchen back just to annoy Tamara, to be quite honest with you.
Me too. I was just thinking that, because I never had a problem with Gretchen. When she started dating Slade, I was like, but it was more because it was Slade, and I still believe that Tamara totally faked a friendship with her to do what she did to get her off the show.
Yeah.
And she turned her against Alexis, because Alexis and Gretchen were close.
Yeah, that would be an interesting dynamic. Maybe that's something we can get for next season.
Could you imagine if they bring Gretchen back and keep Alexis on?
Well, wait, who do we get? We're going to get a cameo at the end of Joe. We're going to get a cameo from Joe at the end of the season. God, wouldn't it be nice if we could get one from Gretchen too?
Yes. I say bring back Joe too.
Why not?
I say bring back some of the OGs. Like, I think that at this point they should bring Vicky back. Did you heard Melissa and Joe on the podcast, and Melissa was at that watch party with Vicky, and she said bring her back.
Yes, I did. I did hear that.
They should bring her back. She started it. She's not the OG of the OC. She's just the OG of Housewives.
And she got the Housewife Award, the Housewife of all Housewife Awards at the last BravoCon.
Yep.
I mean, she is back as a friend of, but she should be.
Yeah, I want to see like what's going on with Michael, and hopefully now it seems like she's in a good, solid relationship. Well, that guy Steve seemed like he was good too, and then he wasn't. So
yeah. Maybe it's better that it's not on camera. Maybe that works better for her.
Yeah. I'll tell you who I really want them to bring back.
Who?
Don Gumbelson.
Oh God. Do you follow him on X? I told you, he makes me laugh. The stuff he puts out there.
Funny.
He is funny.
Did you see what he wrote about Gina? Leases a couple of casitas, and now she started Codo Realty. He's funny. He's really funny.
And he still has a very good relationship with Brie.
Yeah, I think both of her kids. I think Michael too.
Yeah, and he's not their father, so which is good.
Yeah.
It's good that
I think he came in when they were young.
Yeah, he definitely
did. Was, but I think that we saw their father on the show, so at least we know that they also have a relationship with him.
Yes,
to whatever extent it is, which is nice.
No, absolutely. So after they're done fighting, Tamara has to yell to everyone, scatter, scatter, because they're all looking out the window watching what's happening. Gina's inside talking to everyone about how she's upset about what happened with Jenn Pedranti about the house, how she learned about it on Instagram, that she's being evicted because Gina is a new realtor at this point, and she vouched for her. She didn't do a credit check, which she should have done. It's kind of a rookie mistake, but she was a rookie.
I think it was up to the landlord to do the credit check, but because Gina vouched for her, they didn't. And so that's even worse.
Yeah.
That's even worse than Gina just not doing it. Like she put her name on the line.
Yeah, she did. She did.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she's learned from that. And don't think she'll be doing that again.
No.
So then they come back inside and there's a game that they're going to play because Heather had them do the, what was the first game that they played?
The wish, what you
the wish. Yeah, the wish wall. So they were writing things down, and then that wish wall went into what we thought was like a money machine, but it was really you grab a wish and you read what you wish for.
Yeah.
So
Jenn was funny though. She was like, if there's money in there, I should be the first one. That would have been me. I would have been like, I'm going first. Mother effers. I'm in there first.
And Emily was right there shading her as well, saying she needs a car. She needs to pay for a car. She needs rent. She needs money. Let her go.
Yeah.
But it turns out that Alexis goes first. And what she wishes is to have a good relationship with Shannon.
Stupid.
It's so stupid. And of course, Tamara has to say under her breath, well, maybe you should stop sleeping with her ex then.
Yeah.
Like,
stop
come
talking
on.
about it constantly.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Did you see at the end of Alexis and Shannon talking when Alexis was like, I'm glad you guys broke up and now I have him, and Shannon looks at the camera and goes, perfect. That was so good.
Yeah.
Like she don't give an F now. She's just breaking that fourth wall.
And you know
this
what?
is ridiculous. The producers did her dirty.
They did do her dirty, and she's better off without him.
Oh my gosh. Obviously, she's so much better off without him. You know, when you're in something for so long, it's very hard to break away from it.
Yes.
But once you break away from it, you're like, holy cow, that was toxic.
Yeah,
so bad.
What was I thinking?
Yeah.
Which she kind of, revealed last week when she was talking to her daughter. She's like, that's it. I'm done. I'm moving forward. And her daughters are there to support her, which is great.
Yeah.
So then Shannon gets up and she walks out because Alexis is still kind of harping on the whole John Jansen thing. And she goes into the hallway and Tamara goes out there to talk to her. She says she goes out there, to see how she's doing, but that's not really what her intention was.
Not at all, because right away she starts telling. And you can tell when Tamara's lying because Shannon kept her composure. When somebody's lying right to your face and you know the truth, you're not going to overreact. You're not going to yell. You're not going to throw a tantrum like Tamara did. You're just going to sit back and say, okay, and remove yourself from the conversation.
Right.
Tamara lost it.
Yeah,
and started
she did.
acting like a 2-year-old.
Yeah, she really did. She showed her true colors is what she did.
Yeah. And that's when you know someone's lying is wrong and they know they're wrong.
Yeah. And listen, I don't blame Shannon for being pissed at Tamara. I don't blame her for being upset about the whole Tres Amigas because Tamara is talking out of both sides of her mouth with that whole situation. Yep. Is it that you were too busy and you couldn't do the tour, or is it because she got a DUI and you didn't think it was right to do the tour?
Right, because on her podcast, 2Ts, we heard her say she was just very busy and she had emailed the manager. She let him know that she wasn't going to be able to make appearances. Like, this is what she said.
Right.
Now her story's changing. So she was lying.
I mean, and I actually remember kind of vividly when the whole story broke that Shannon had the DUI, it was the day before Tamara was leaving the country to go to Traders.
Oh, that's right.
Now, they had already had that conversation about her pulling back.
Right.
They had already had that conversation. There was already that rift about them not doing it. Right. And then all of a sudden, she gets the DUI. Tamara leaves and goes to Scotland to film Traders. And then she comes back, and that's when she's like, I guess she had another show scheduled at that point. even though she had already said that, it's not fitting in my schedule, she did that show. And then she says that she was doing it behind our back. When Shannon was pretty honest about it, she's like, no, that's not what happened. I mean,
Right.
I didn't say I stopped drinking. I do think that maybe she should stop drinking, but listen, that's for her to decide.
Exactly.
That's for her to
Exactly.
decide. Like, that's not for us to decide. That's not
Right.
certainly not for Tamara to decide.
Right. She should stop drinking and driving, which it seems like she did.
Right. Exactly.
But
Yeah. Then we see Gina's doing an open house. We get to see her at work, and she's doing a great job showing the house this time, because last season when we saw her when she first started, she was kind of fumbling, but she kind of gets it now, what she needs to do and what the hot points are. And most importantly, she needs to know the price of the house.
right. Very important.
Then we see Shannon, Katie, and Jenn are all working out. They're going up and down those stairs, which, oh my
Shannon,
gosh.
Katie, and Jenn.
Yep.
Yeah, because this is when I think Katie asks Jenn, what does Ryan do? And Jen's response is basically nothing. He says, she says he basically does nothing. And then I listened to Brav Bros, and they kind of explained what Ryan did. And he was like a middleman in the sports betting. So I guess maybe he would deliver the money, collect the money. Like, I don't know. He was a middleman. But she answered that so poorly.
Well, first of all, he wasn't mentioned yet. There was no indictment, so she had no idea. I think she literally doesn't know what he does.
Probably not.
Like, she just doesn't know.
Right.
Which just doesn't surprise me, because a lot of these women are just dumb.
Well, the thing is that, and I know women like this. They're married to guys who make a decent amount of money. They don't ask anything.
Right. They don't
As
care.
long as they don't have to go to work, they don't ask a damn thing. And it's not.
No, it sure is not smart. Then we see Katie and her husband and her daughter, and we find out a little bit about the fact that she was married before and that she has 3 other children.
Right.
I was very surprised to hear that. So her daughter is 19 years old, Kylie, and she lives with her. And she is fully embracing their Korean heritage.
Right. Even though Katie was adopted.
Katie was adopted and knew nothing about it. Her family didn't really teach her about it. She just had no interaction with it. But her daughter has since learned the language and is really embracing the culture and teaching her mother, which is awesome.
Yeah, which is nice because she can learn through that.
Yes, and it brings them closer together, I'm sure.
Think about it. When she was adopted, it wasn't very common that a white family would adopt a Korean or Asian child.
Right.
It has since become very common, which is wonderful.
Right.
But it just wasn't then. So she probably felt, she probably grew up feeling different and insecure about that difference. That's what led her not to explore her Korean heritage.
But she also mentions that her parents did adopt 2 other children prior to her and that they were from Georgia. Now,
Right.
I don't know if she meant the state of Georgia or the Republic of Georgia.
Well, they are white. Her siblings are white.
Well, the Republic of Georgia is Russian.
So they would be.
Yeah, they would. Right. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there. So it's not like she grew up in, a home where, yes, she was different, but they were all adopted.
They were all adopted, but people wouldn't look at their family and question
Yes.
the other 2.
Right. That's very, very true. So
Yeah.
she also has a 17-year-old son, Gavin, and he's finishing up school in San Diego. And her 14-year-old son, Max, lives in Atlanta full-time with his dad. So he has, a good relationship with his dad. And her current husband, she has a son who's 6 years old, and his name is Bandon. And her current husband also has a very good relationship with her daughter.
Yeah.
Which is nice because they're all living together under the same roof. So, you kind of want that, right?
Yeah.
You want that blended family.
She said something about her daughter feeling abandoned by her father, which is interesting because if her brother's living with the dad, it's not like he just took off.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. I don't know if we'll find out, but she did say that. But she does feel very close to Matt. That's her stepdad.
Yeah.
And she considers him her adopted father. So, yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know if we ever will, but it's unfortunate. Then we see Emily and Shannon and Gina. They go to the gym getting ready for flag football. because Emily's daughter started playing flag football. So she thought that might be a good activity for all the ladies to do. And why she didn't think Gina would be good at it is beyond me, because Gina is very athletic. I mean,
Yeah, I think because Emily works so hard in the gym, she probably figured that she would be the most natural at it. But then, some people are just, not myself, obviously. Some people are just so naturally athletic, they don't even have to try that hard.
Yes.
And that is annoying.
Oh, it's 100% annoying. 100% annoying. And when they're all there talking about it, they're really kind of building Shannon up and telling her that they're proud the way she handled it with Alexa, and that they're there for her and they're encouraging her, because Shannon did at the party. She went right up to Gina and she apologized to her.
Yeah.
For what she had said, the way she had acted at the reunion, everything that had happened in the past. And, she owned it. And that's what she needed to do. And Gina appreciated it. And, she accepted it, which also needed to happen,
Yeah.
And that's what I like about this cast, is that certain people, not Tamara, certain people on the cast accept the apologies and then move.
I think Heather has a hard time admitting she's wrong. But I think that Heather will recognize if it's going to make things better, she'll apologize and move on, or accept your apology and move on. But I do think Heather struggles with it. Tamara is just an asshole about it. Tamara won't ever acknowledge wrongdoing. She's very similar to Teresa.
Yeah.
Not as bad. Yeah. Not as bad, but similar.
Yeah. I have a very hard time watching Tamara anymore. I also have a hard time even listening to her on Two Teas in a Pod, because it just
Me too.
And I used to like her. I used to like her on Two Teas in a Pod, but then I wasn't seeing her. As soon as she came back to OC, I was like, no, I don't even want to listen to you anymore, because I know who you really are, and it's annoying.
She was different before she got back on the show. She was much better on the podcast before she got back on the show. We've talked about this. Like, she came for Teresa. Like, she said something. She said that Louis had Brooks vibes, and Teresa went off, and she defended herself. Tamara, she 100% defended herself. Remember, she said, "I know what happened with you and your husband that night in LA or wherever the hell they were." And she never said what it was, but she was like, "Keep pushing me and I'll say it."
Right.
And I was kind of hoping that Teresa would still push her.
Yeah.
She never said it. And then she got back on the show. Everything changed. I don't know if it's because she's a Bravo employee again. She can't, she's just different now that she's back on the show. And it's just not a good look. When she went to that lunch with Eddie, she started crying. And I'm like, here we go again. Tamara cries with no tears. It's so phony and fake. And it was all because she thought Shannon was going to go get treatment and she didn't. Yeah. You don't care that much about Shannon to care if she gets treatment.
No.
You just don't.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You're absolutely right. She does not care about that. And then when she was at lunch with Eddie, she talks about Eddie's plan is to move to Big Bear full time, and she's not ready to do that yet. But they do have a place in Big Bear, so she can go back and forth. She doesn't have to do that yet.
It is interesting, though. Like, could you imagine living in California? I mean, I don't know how long Eddie's lived there, but I don't think Tamara's lived there all her life either, but they've been there a good part of their life. Could you imagine, like, living in California and then, Big Bear's in California, but it's in like a snowy area, right? Cold, snowy area.
Yes. Yes.
I don't think I could do that. Like, you're living in sunny California where the weather is perfect almost every day.
Yeah, I know I couldn't do it for sure, but I do know that, Bill would love to go north. He loves the mountains. He loves lots of land. He loves acres. Like, he would love I mean, I'm not going with him, but God bless him if he was.
Listen, your marriage will last forever if that happens.
Yeah.
Eric would like a lot of land, but Eric needs to be near the ocean. And I feel the same way. And I'm not a huge beach person, but I just like being near the ocean.
I need to be near the ocean. I need to be near the ocean.
Just for the scenery, the calmness. You just go sit on the beach and listen to the waves. It's just very calming.
Yeah, I need the salt air therapy. Yeah. Yes. And I need that. I need to be, my whole life, I've been, within 15 minutes of the ocean. And, if I'm having a tough day, to know that I can just get in the car and go sit at the inlet. I don't even have to get out. Just sit there and watch the boats come in and out, or just go to the beach and just, listen to the ocean. It's just, for me, that's therapy. I mean, I have
For
therapy
sure.
too, but there's
Right.
nothing like that.
Yeah. No, you're right.
So what else? She's talking about Jenn getting evicted, and it's
Mm.
been 4 years since
And she's basically saying the same thing Emily said, like, or
right,
Gina said, like, she needs to get a job now. I
right,
mean, I know she owns her
right,
studio and she's teaching, but if that's not paying the bills, because small businesses are very difficult to make money off of,
right,
you need to go do something else.
right. I remember we weren't sure after last week's episode because she said she was only making $50 a yoga class, but she did clarify it on Watch What Happens Live that she does in fact own the studio like we thought.
Right.
But she's not making enough money to support her family.
No, I mean, she's probably just breaking even with the overhead, especially if she has other teachers teaching. If she's not the only teacher, then she has payroll,
Absolutely.
insurance, rent.
Yeah, all that stuff. All that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And she, they're talking to the kids about moving in with Ryan, and we see that whole scene where they're moving to his house.
And her parents are there.
Yeah, I mean, the house looks gorgeous. It looks like
is gorgeous.
A gorgeous house. I wonder if it's in the OC. I wonder where it is.
I mean, I don't know if he had that house the first season. I don't know how long he's had that house, but he was going to Cut Fitness, so it can't be too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He was going there. Yep. What else? Heather and Shannon go out to eat and they discuss their issues, which is good.
It's good because I think they both realize that Tamara is the problem.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And that's really what they find out. Like, we know this because we see it. I don't know why Heather doesn't see it. I mean,
I'm sure she does. I'm sure Heather and Tamara aren't kikiing when the cameras aren't rolling. Vicky was just quoted saying that Tamara's storyline is going after her castmates. And she's right. She's right. Tamara has no storyline. She tried bringing her daughter on. It didn't go well. Yeah. And do you know that I listened to Two Teas in a Pod after that? And she was saying that her daughter saw herself on camera and was so unhappy. And now she's going to the gym and she went blonde again. And I thought, what the fuck are you doing?
Right. Why would you do that to her? Why would you do that to her?
Your daughter's beautiful the way she is. Now you put her on camera and now the girl's all insecure, trying to lose weight and going blonde again. I just thought she must really be a pill to live with.
I also remember her saying something on camera about she didn't like the color of her daughter's.
Why the hell would you do that on camera? Don't do it to begin with. I mean, listen, I've had my opinions about Tessa's hair and I have vocalized them, but I wouldn't do it on camera in front of the whole world.
Yeah. I mean, I have boys. I don't have that problem. They're not really dyeing their hair.
No, they're not. They're not. You don't have that problem. You don't even dye your hair.
I don't.
Lucky.
What else? Then we have Gina, Emily, and Katie sit down to talk. Oh, that's when they're talking about what Ryan does and that she needs to worry about her own issues and that she needs to, focus, supporting her family and not really relying on Ryan. And it ends up with Jenn and Gina sitting down to talk. Yep. And Gina was pissed as soon as she saw Jenn walk through the front door. When she saw she had all her makeup done, all her glam done.
Her hair was done.
Yeah. And I will say this about Gina, and you know what, Jenn did slam her with this in her confessional. When Gina was going through a divorce and she was going through a hard time, her hair wasn't looking great, but she got through it. She was wearing the yoga pants. She was showing up. Yep. And she was doing what she needed to do for her kids.
Yep.
And I agree with her.
She still is.
Yes.
With the decision to move out of that place with Travis. She's still doing the right thing and putting her kids.
Right. Which is important. I mean,
absolutely.
If you're a good mom, your kids come first. It's that simple. Your kids come first.
Yep.
If you're a bad mom, you come first.
Yep.
And I mean, and I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it. The fact that Tamara's one daughter still will not speak to her, there's got to be a reason for that.
Well, she publicly humiliated the girl's father on national TV. I mean, she made Simon, her and Vicky, made Simon look like public enemy number one. Was he controlling? Probably. Was he threatened that his family was going to be torn apart by a reality TV show? 100%. Because his wife took that role and she ran with it. And, I was thinking about this the other day. We were saying, like, we liked it when it was like families and we were seeing the family stuff. And when did it turn? Tamara turned it. Tamara turned it because she started going after Gretchen when Gretchen was engaged to that older man, Jeff. She made it toxic. She did that single-handedly. She changed the whole direction of that show.
What season was that, do you think?
I think she came on the 3rd season.
Okay. Wow, that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Considering this is the 18th season.
Yep.
That's unfortunate.
She changed it though. And I'm sure Simon was a nice guy. I think that's really what happened. I think he saw how the show was changing her and was like, holy shit.
Or the show was just shining a light on who she really was.
Right.
Because I don't think Tamara has changed. I think Tamara has always been this person that she is.
I agree. I agree. That whole naked, wasted scene with Gretchen trying to get her to hook up with her son. You were totally trying to get this girl who's engaged to a sick man, drunk, so she will hook up with your son. Why? So you could prove a point? You're ready to ruin this guy's life when he's on death's door, basically, publicly, just to prove you're right? It's just disgusting.
No, I agree with you.
She's always been this.
I agree with you. And, well, I guess we're going to have to wait and see what happens the rest of the season.
Yeah.
But I would not be sad if we don't see her next season.
I wouldn't be either. I mean, I know she's one of Andy's favorites, just like Teresa. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, because he thinks that they are good for ratings. But I feel like people are kind of getting fed up with it.
I do too. I think what they should do is they should come up with a totally new franchise and don't call it Real Housewives. Maybe it's just called, Families of the OC or I don't know, whatever it's going to be called.
Because now these women get cast and now they think they have to do something. And if they don't do something, they're not going to be there next season.
Yeah.
Although that backfired on that Noella chick from OC. She came in hot. Crazy and hot. And they didn't bring her back.
So speaking of that, the woman from Beverly Hills, the woman that was on one season with the dark hair who lived in the castle. Lived in a
castle?
She lived in the castle.
Oh, Carlton.
So Carlton.
She was like a Wiccan.
Yeah, so this is interesting. I've been watching $1 Million Listing LA because it just came back on.
Yeah.
Because I love that show.
Yeah, me too. I've been watching it.
So I guess they had like what is it? Like a
Broker's Open?
No, what's the word? Where they run them all over, like the old episodes. What is wrong with me?
Oh,
am I having a stroke? That's it. Thank you. I'm like having a stroke or something. Couldn't think of the word. So
please, it's been a long day. Can't go to the hospital. Please.
Okay, so there was $1 Million Listing marathon just before the new season came out, and her ex-husband and his brother were on it, and they were trying to sell that house.
Wait, Carlton divorced that guy?
I don't know if she divorced him or he divorced her.
He was good looking from what I remember.
Yes, and his brother's good looking too. So we were touring the house.
That episode.
Yeah, we were touring that house, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's that witch!" Like, I can't believe, and it was a
red room.
Yes, and they flashed back to some of the scenes and some of the stuff when we were there this past time. Josh Altman got it, and he's the one who got it to try and sell it, and he came up with the idea to make it because it was totally empty. They didn't want to stage it. They didn't want to spend the money to stage it, so he had this medieval costumes, and they were jousting and trying.
That's great.
It was funny. I actually don't even remember if it's sold or not, but I just remember thinking, "Oh my God, that was from Beverly Hills."
I have to look that episode up. She came after Kyle, totally unwarranted.
Yeah. That was weird. It was such a weird.
Yeah.
I don't even know how was she supposedly a friend of Lisa's because she was from England. Is that?
I think she was a friend of Lisa Vanderpump's.
Yeah. So that didn't last long.
No, she was a one and done. And the same season was, what was that other girl's name? Was it Gabriella? The girl with the beautiful dark hair, wavy.
Oh,
she was like a pageant girl.
Yes. What happened to?
I don't know, but I see her on QVC selling beauty products. She has her own beauty line. Yeah, she's on QVC. She's
Good for her.
gorgeous. I forget.
Good
I
for-
think her name was Gabrielle, but I could be wrong.
Okay, and I'm going to throw one more thing out before we wrap this one up.
All right.
Owning Manhattan on Netflix with Ryan Serhant is a must watch.
You started it?
I finished it. It's only 8 episodes.
Half hour?
I don't know.
All right, I'll start it. Oh, I gotta watch Gypsy Rose. I gotta watch Gypsy Rose first.
Well, we don't.
I
mean, we don't even have to talk about it. I'm just,
No, but I want to watch it.
Yeah, definitely watch it, and I'm telling our listeners to watch it too. I always loved Ryan Serhant. I've always thought he was a class act. I think he's a great realtor. I love seeing the Manhattan, penthouses, the brownstones. I love the real.
Yeah.
I love the real estate shows. I really do.
Yeah,
I
I
love
like
them.
the LA ones better because of the size of the homes and just, I mean, they're just much more glamorous. But I like New York, and I really like Ryan Serhant, so I will watch that.
Well, there's no more $1 Million Listing New York, so that's the only
Right.
thing we have. So,
And he said on Watch What Happens Live that Frederick did not congratulate him,
no.
but everybody else did. That Steve Lodge,
Mm-hmm.
and who was the other guy?
Luis.
Luis.
Yes.
Luis calls him all the time.
Yeah. I love watching Ryan. I love his relationship with his driver. He's got the same driver he's had for, since he started in real estate. The guy who was his assistant is now one of his top producers. Like, he just has such a good rapport with people.
Yeah.
He's such a good people person. So I definitely recommend that to everybody.
All right.
Until
Get on
next
it.
time. Good
All
night.
right, bye.